mercury poisoning, so I was helping her with that. And she's getting her acupuncturist license and all of that. So I want her on my team. Yeah.
Yeah, acupuncturists, they're great candidates for the team.
And she's from Spain. So when she opened up the product, the most impressive thing was that it smelled like fruits and vegetables. So she was sold just from the smell of the bottle. I'm in. I love it. Yeah.
Nice.
Hi, Quinny. Quinny! You don't see me? Hi. I know I'm one of the squares.
We're live on Facebook. Sharon, do we have any
We have a special Ariana on here.
any special guests?
Hi. For a story, I would love Ariana to tell her COVID story since she's here.
Oh boy.
I
You hear me?
don't think you've been on Lunch and Learn since then, maybe. I don't know.
I have not. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
So before I freak her out, sorry, take a breath. Ariana is on Landon's team. She was in New York City when it all went down. And she's one of the first people that I talked to during that time. And she's like, I'm freaking out. Everybody's in masks and everything. Remember that when you're in the car?
Oh, yeah.
Long after that, she found out she had COVID too. So anyway, I'm taking all your story. But tell us a little bit about what happened and how you're doing.
So we were in New York, and then COVID happened. The whole world changed, and now we live in Florida. So that's the big one. We moved down in July, so we're really excited about that. I think it's all about just the lifestyle change for us. You know, I have two little boys, so obviously the weather, but also the ability to exercise and, you know, just have a little bit of a different life. It was really exciting. But, you know, I am still, you know, trying to figure out my own Juice Plus story. And definitely one of those people that's not had an easy time marketing and trying to figure out how to do it, you know, how to sort of jump in. And for me, you know, listen, I had COVID very early on. I've been taking Juice Plus now for, let me see, my son is 9, so I've been taking it for 7 years. And thank God I had a very mild case of it, I have to tell you. And I know I'm not allowed to say that it's because I take anything or because I eat well or whatever I do, but, you know, I definitely believe it has something to do with it, I have to tell you. You know, I never stopped with the vitamins. I even upped it during that time. I probably took capsules and chewables every day. But, you know, I've given my kids, I think for me, the biggest story is my children. I've been giving it to my youngest one since he's 2.5, my other one since he's 2.5, he's 4. And it just happened again last week. They both had a tiny little fever and a tiny little cough and a tiny little sniffle for 12 hours. I'm telling you. In the morning, they didn't feel well. I kept them home. But thank God it wasn't COVID. It wasn't anything. It was just a normal, you know, October, whatever. And by the next morning, they were totally fine. I had to take them to the doctor to get clearance to go back to school because of the world we're living in right now. But this is how they've been getting sick their whole life. I swear. It's a little bit, and then they recover. My older son has been on antibiotics one time for strep throat. My younger son, knock on wood, not yet, not once. And you know, we were in New York and we enjoyed the New York winters. So, you know, I don't know if it was Juice Plus or for me with COVID, I don't know, but I had, thank God, a very mild case. I recovered very quickly. And, you know, with my kids. So I really am a huge fan personally and trying to figure out now how to share that and, you know, talk to people about my journey.
Right. Well, I think you can always say, you know, it's something that you believe helped you. You just can't say you
Right.
know, a flat out statement, you know. I mean, you can, but we're trying to be compliant. But you are among friends here, and we all know exactly what you're talking about with the kids, especially. The cold comes in, goes out really quickly. So, and we actually have a study that shows less severity and duration of cold and flu-like symptoms. So that part we can always back up with our research. Same with the immune system. So I'm glad you're here.
And you know what? One more thing, Sharon. I think I picked up on another call, or maybe when you were talking to somebody. was that my kids eat so many fruits and vegetables, it's not normal. Like they come home and they ask for cucumbers and carrots
Wow.
and apples and strawberries and stuff all day. So that was something that I heard you say maybe when we were on the phone with Jackie, just about my kids eat it also. It's not just the gummies that they love, it's they really love fruits and vegetables. I mean, they still like pizza and potato chips. Like they eat all kid food, but they really do will ask for fruits and vegetables all day long.
Yeah.
So that's definitely
We found that with the children's health study. You know, a lot of the kids, that is the case. And when you're eating the fruits and vegetables, like with kids with autism, I like to say we're getting it in them somehow. Either, you know, we freeze the gummies or we somehow, because they have texture issues, we get it in them and then they start craving more fruits and vegetables because their body's getting programmed to like fruits and vegetables. So it's really cool. They have more of a palate. So yay. Well, we're glad you're here and hopefully
yeah.
it's going to help you. And
Yeah.
we're glad you're in South Florida too.
Yes, me too. And hi everyone.
Yeah.
Hi. So you're in South Florida now. Maybe you can give me some insider information. Are the snowbirds coming this season? Or because of COVID, are they going to not as much come down?
I think they're coming and they're not going back, is what I'm hearing.
Like you.
Oh
I have a
boy.
lot of friends who, listen, most people with small kids don't come down for just the season and go back, right? Because their kids are in school. I have a lot of people I know that just made the move for at least this school year. Like they're down here and their kids are enrolled. So from what I understand from snowbirds, I think they just delayed it. So maybe instead of coming in October, because they didn't go back up north until the summer when the cases got better in New York, they're coming down more like December, January, a little bit later. That's what I'm hearing.
Okay. That's good info for me and Patrick. We're planning our golf and stuff, you know?
Yes.
Janie says, Ariana, you're a natural. Just share like you did with us.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, welcome to our Facebook crowd. What we wanted to do today, let me unspotlight her. Okay, so what we want to talk about today, and we don't have any special speakers lined up, but there's some really good ones on here, and that is like talking through. We all see it, okay? Because I'm just like everybody else. You know, we see people that are always getting in that the recognition for like, oh, 5 customers, 6 customers, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're talking through like all the time about, okay, let's build up and get a qualified business and have be customer qualified. And then let's have 30 to 50 customers. And then from there, we're going to build a team and then help other people do the same. Well, some people are getting like 5, 10, 15. I mean, there's people that get 20 customers a month. And it's a lot easier to build up to that qualified business if you're able to just say, okay, I need to get more customers. And we hear some people say that. They're like, oh, yeah, I need to get more customers this month. So, and it might seem like an obvious answer, but I think every time we talk about it, we uncover some more good things and people have more belief that they can do it and whatnot. So although we have a lot of experienced people on here, let's remember that we also have our Facebook playback, and we're going to want to make sure that we have good content for them too. So with that said, Sharon, you're going to love this. I'm going to turn it over to Sharon.
Why?
And we're going to start talking through.
Launch.
You gotta love them. You gotta love them.
Oh my goodness. No, you were like so on a roll. Okay, so
Okay, I won't turn it over to Sharon.
second.
Instead,
No.
we're gonna say, oh, you ready?
Sort of.
'Cause I got Stacy right here. Stacy's she's ready to go. She's got content.
Stacey's ready. Stacey's always got good stuff to say. I just want Ariana and Alex and anyone who feels like they can't get customers to also interrupt while those people are talking because they can handle it. So the 10 customer a month people or 5 customer a month people can talk, but I want the newer people or the struggling people to be able to have that freedom to interrupt or go in the chat and say, but what about this? But what about this or whatever? Okay, sorry, that was it.
Okay, so I was gonna say, here's the question for somebody to answer. let's say we decide that right now I have, because I know somebody on here that might have 25 customers, but they want to have 30 or 40 customers because they know they need to. Okay. What does that person need to do to ramp it up? Like whether it's mindset or actual activity, what are some secrets to going out and getting customers? And I'll mute and let somebody take it.
Do you want me to answer, Doug?
I always want you to answer.
Okay, so you said it already. If they say, I can't get any customers, I need customers. You get what you think. So if you think I can't, you're right. You're not going to get customers just by wishing that you had customers. But even saying the things like, I can't get customers. I talk to people, but nobody gets back with me. I tell people, but they're always ghosting me. Everyone that I know thinks Juice Plus is too expensive. Like all of those things, if you're saying those things, that will project in your next conversation you have with someone, and it's going to come for full circle. So to give you an example, when I first started with Juice Plus, I was talking to a lot of people. We had a cassette tape at that time. I had 2 of them. And so I had to get those back. There was no way to text videos. That wasn't even a thing. Texting didn't even exist. And I had that cassette tape. I had 2 of them. So I had to make sure whoever I gave that to, they actually listened to it, and then I would get it back. So I could get people to listen to the cassette tape. And when I asked them for it back, like asked them what they thought, I didn't do 2 things. Like for the first 3 weeks, I was off. I was getting information out to people and building interest, which is something too. You don't usually just start talking to people and get results right away. If you've been inactive, it takes time to get those conversations going, the momentum rolling. Some of those people aren't going to order again until or order for 4 months, maybe 8 months. Some people are going to order within 2 weeks of you talking to them. So you got to talk to enough people. I was talking to a lot of people, but I did not have the skill set to move them from interest to point of order. I didn't know the questions to ask, and I just didn't have that skill set. So I quickly figured out I didn't have that. And so I brought Sharon in, but very easily, my 3 best friends like totally shot me down. My first 3 that I was like, for sure, they're going to order. All 3 of them said, one said, I mean, just like really weird things, answers. And I was like, okay, I didn't, again, have the skill set to ask them the deeper questions. But when I started getting orders is when I brought those people to Sharon. I was generating interest. And then Sharon and I did some events together. She was that third-party validation. She did know how to help move them to the point of actually ordering. And that's how we got the orders. But I could have said, my friends just aren't interested. This product costs too much. I don't have enough people that I know to keep talking to. I've already talked to everybody I know. Some of my family was interested at the beginning, but not all of them. But I said, if there are people that are getting customers, then I can get customers. Sharon's getting customers. Julie is getting customers. Amy was getting customers. People on the team, I had went to one training and they were talking about getting customers. So I knew it was me. It was the same product, the same marketing, the same cassette tape, the same information. So what was the variable? It was me. So I knew it had to be something within my conversations, or that I just wasn't totally following the system of bringing those people in. So part of it is mindset. What are you saying to yourself? And then Doug, you were right. What's the activity you're doing? If you're talking to 5 people, the same 5 people over and over and over again, they're going to be irritated and you're going to feel pushy. And nobody wants that. You're going to feel like the salesperson that everyone says they want to avoid. Even though, what's your mindset about people that sell? Do you think it's wrong to make money from selling a product? Are you like terrified of saying the words, I sell something? Because we do have to have sales skills for this too. So just be super cautious about, and write them down. Like, you'll be surprised. Just start writing down the things that come to your mind. Don't edit it throughout the day, and just write it down and look at the end of the week, even just a couple of days of the things that you say, and you'll read back past them and you'll be like, nobody can win this with that being said over and over in your head. It's just not fair to yourself. So are you really doing the activity that starts conversations, not just busy work? So what are you saying in your head? It's not what you say, it's what you think about what you say that even means more. And then what activity are you doing? Are you really doing activity to start conversations and then serious follow-up with them, moving them to the next step and connecting them to somebody that has a higher skill set than you do until you get that skill set?
That's great. I'm gonna challenge somebody on here to like get coached from like 25 people. You know, ask a question. You know, if you feel like what Stacy said, she said, well, if it's the same system, other people are getting different results. The only variable is me. So the question is, and just so you know, we wouldn't say that if it was like, okay, you can't do this. That's not what we're saying. What she's saying is, what do I need to change? What do I need to tweak in order to be able to get better at this? So, how about sharing something like from you guys? Like ask a specific question or share what happens to you, and then I bet you we're gonna have some answers for you. Does anybody want
Might I might I say something first?
Yeah.
I think that we need to hear what she said again. She said, Stacy said every single thing. I don't think there's another thing that needs to be said except that we get to go deeper and dive deeper into what Stacy is saying. And I think that's what you, and I think that's what you are alluding to, right? That is from what Stacy just said, we get to know, we get to ask the question or just dive deeper into that, because everything she said was the total answer to everything. I hope we heard what she just said.
Well, Nolani, you're really good at coaching people, so why don't you do some active listening and reflect back how you heard it, and then that'll create even more
Okay.
conversation.
Okay, so the day that you realized that you were the variable, well, see, that's the whole thing. She gave us the answer. She said she went to her upline. So then the question is, how do you feel about telling your upline? How do you feel about sharing with your upline your experience? Like Stacy just said, she realized that she was the variable. So when you have all of those things going on, when I have all these things going on in my head, that she mentioned, that, well, you know, they're ghosting me. I saw everybody. How did you, and the answer was, the answer to the question was, I spoke to my upline because I felt this way, but I knew it had to be something that made it right for them, that makes it work for them. Why isn't it working for me? So I must have done something wrong. So you know what? I can't give you an answer because everything that comes out of my mouth is going to be what Stacy said.
That's good. How many people on here have a team member, at least one team member? Raise your hand, okay. And how many people have invited and encouraged people to get on Lunch and Learns? But they don't always, right?
Right.
So I think it's frustrating, right? So it's frustrating that people don't bring what they're thinking to us as an upline. So for us, you know, I always look at the number. So today we almost got below 20. 20, I have this thing in my mind where 20 is like, oh my gosh, if we're below 20, we got a problem with Lunch and Learn. But I am starting to think about it as far as replays and stuff. But so we're at 27 now, so I feel better. But I still feel like there's so much value that's going to be shared here that I wish other people would come and listen. But that first step that Stacy said is a really strong step as a person, as somebody who wants to get better. You have to seek getting better. You can't just, share with a few people, get some negative responses, or maybe you get an order and you have 1 or 2 customers, but then it's like you see the other people on the list getting 5, 10, 15 customers, and you're just like, well, I guess that's what I do. Whereas if you called up or sent a Voxer and said something, I don't mean like calling up and saying, oh, I can't believe my sister didn't order, like just complaining. I'm saying, I've watched Stacy learn over the years, and she's researched a lot, not just her upline, but sideline and famous NMDs, like looking into their systems. And she doesn't go at it saying, this is the problem, blah, 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 blah. It's like being a sponge. So if you go to Sharon or you go to Stacy or whoever your upline is and say, so what's my problem? Why aren't I getting 10 customers? What can I do? I mean, they're going to tell you. But, this is a volunteer army, so we do hesitate. I hesitate to pick up the phone and say, hey, Stacy, I notice a problem with you.
Right. Yeah, we're not, as uplines, we can't say that, but I guarantee you, if you talk to Sharon and I and really say, okay, I want to do this business. I really need to get more customers. And I feel like I'm doing the activity, but why am I not getting the customers? I can tell you why. Within 5 or 10 minutes, if I don't already know, I can tell you why, because it's the same things. It's not like it's drastically different. The other thing, Doug, I think that really was a switch with me that day that I told Sharon, all right, look, I'm talking to a lot of people, but I'm not getting anyone to order. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. I told her that. Like, there was a switch in my mind from kind of playing the game, like, okay, I'll talk to someone. It was kind of like the easy things, to I want to be effective with my time. I wasn't okay just volunteering education resources to people. I wanted to get compensated for my time, even though I wasn't business minded. I didn't want to waste my time, and I don't think anyone else does either. It's discouraging. It's not a lot of fun. And we have lives. We're putting time in. We want to get results back from that. So if you're not getting the results that you really want, and you have to decide, do you really want? At that point, I told Sharon, just tell me what to do. Like, what am I missing? Tell me what to do. Before that, I was sharing Juice Plus my own way, like Vanna White presenting it at like Bunko. It wasn't working. And I told her, tell me what to do. And she said, okay, we need to do some events. And I was like, okay, tell me how to invite. Okay, I just did it. I started following everything that she said, and we started getting those orders. And I was sales coordinator within 6 months, making $500 a month, and I've never made less than that. Like, that was just not okay in my mind to ever go back. And it really wasn't even until a couple of years later, as a sales coordinator, maybe 4 years later, that I realized I need a second stream of income for our family. I need to get serious about really doing this as a business and bringing people on as a team with me. Again, that was a very definite, I'm in. Like, I can't keep messing around with this. I said, my kids are older now, which is funny because my youngest was 15 months old. My oldest was 4, and I had one in the middle. And I was like, my kids are older now. I can do this. But I had a strong need. I had to decide, I am going to build a team. And what do I need to do that? And then I really started building leadership skills and reading books, and started thinking, what does a senior sales coordinator do? I don't know. So I started talking to senior sales coordinators. What kind of activity were they doing? What does a QNMD do? What does that look like? And I was like scared stepping into each of those, because I felt like, who am I into this leadership position? But you just keep moving forward. But something has to shift in your mind where you decide, I'm going to do this. And I've seen that with team members that have moved and jumped to like the next position. They have to come to the point where they're like a resolved mindset. I will move forward. Senior sales coordinator is mine. I am going for it. And then like excuses go away and activity just happens. Your mind is open. And so you see conversations you wouldn't have, or you hear conversations you wouldn't have heard. You see next steps you wouldn't have seen, because your mind is open to that. And it's not closed off with the negative thinking. It's a resolved, I will move forward. So check your resolve. Like, how serious are you with that? And I guarantee if you talk to your sponsor, like maybe not like your direct sponsor, but somebody you've been working with, if you ask them within 5 or 10 minutes, they'll be able to tell you what's off. But do you want to hear it? If you're not resolved, like I'm moving forward, you probably don't want to hear it. If you're afraid to hear the answer, you're probably not really resolved, deciding I want to move forward.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I love that Alicia, she's saying putting one's ego aside and humbling ourselves to learn from others. I mean, that's like a major success thing in life right there, is to not be prideful and to just realize that we can always learn from others. And if you do that, you can do a lot of stuff in life. I want to throw out the question from Nicole Field. She often wonders, how soon is too soon to talk about it? I assume we're talking about Juice Plus, and like you meet somebody, and like can we talk about Juice Plus? How does that happen? And at the same time, having many different conversations is so important. Yeah. So you always hear us say, talk to a lot of people, talk to more people, more people. I mean, how many people a day? Some people, have a goal. Some people do it different ways. Radice is 30 good conversations a month. Some people say I talk to 5 people a day or 10 people a day. But, with all this blitzing going on, sometimes especially if we were getting points for it in certain games, like we might feel rushed to like talk about Juice Plus. So when do we know? Like, how do we know? And I'll get the question out there, but I like being transparent. I'll be vulnerable and I'll put my ego aside and humble myself. Sometimes I'm too chicken to bring it up, right? You have the conversation going. I'm like, even in a blitz, you're like, oh, I got a good conversation going with so and so, and it's like, I don't want to be awkward. How do I bring it up? So, what are some of the ways that we bring it up? How do we know when it's the right time?
I think it I think it should be natural, and it should feel natural. It should never feel like what you just said. How should I bring this up? Because if we're feeling that way, then there's an agenda involved. If there's no agenda and we are really genuinely is listening to the person, that's when we find that it naturally falls into place. When you're listening, the conversation, especially today where health is really a part of every conversation almost, it feels natural when it's a part of the conversation. And I don't even know if that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Ray Higdon summarizes it this way. He says, if you don't want to sound weird, don't be weird. So if I haven't seen Michelle in a while, or Nalani, I haven't seen you in a while, we're talking, and it's like, so how many fruits and veggies did you eat today? It's like, that's a weird question.
Just
So
ask, what are they doing to support? You can just say, so, because like the whole virus conversation comes up like all the time, right? My pool guy, I was just talking to him, he said, so what do you think of this whole COVID thing? So we started talking. I directed the conversation. So you can ask questions that are going to move the conversation in the direction you want it to go. You can put sentences in the initial meeting of somebody that will help direct the conversation in the way that you want it to go. But you ask questions to find the need. But right now, it's everyone's concerned about the immune system. So you can just ask, so what are you doing to support your immune system right now? You mentioned this was a concern of yours. What are you doing? And I said, winter immune systems are built in the fall. What are we doing right now to strengthen that, to walk into this next season healthier than what we were before? It's about how much plant food you're eating. How are you doing with that? I just asked him. And then he was like, why you gotta ask me that? It just, started the conversation. So just ask questions, be interested, not interesting. It's not about you, it's about them.
I don't know if anyone else has done it, but recently I was getting my nails done, and not too recently, but whatever. And I decided to just scroll through my phone. Like, what an advantage that we have a device in our hands, right? And I'm like, oh my goodness, I just came across this picture of my awesome. The conversation occur organically. I don't know if anyone else tried that, but I feel like just using our technology to our advantage and just seeing if it causes more conversation has worked for me at times. And then I get phone numbers and I get people excited and I share information, but that's a little thing I've done to try to get things going. I know we don't have many of those opportunities, being that we're still going through our pandemic, but yeah,
Well, I've been
I feel
listening.
like crying now. I was muted the whole time, not a tear, but yeah, that's what I've done recently.
Stacy, Stacy said something last week that made so much sense to me, and that is that no matter where we go with our social media or how we do it, whether it's the latest cool thing or the old school thing on social media, it's just about relationships and conversations. So, Nicole, when you say you've added some new doctors from school and you ask them, how strong is their immune system or something like that, maybe, maybe it was too soon. Maybe you didn't really have. Did it feel awkward? Because you said it's not a normal question. So I'm wondering, did it feel awkward when you asked it? I like the way Stacy said she doesn't just ask the question. She says, "So what are you doing with COVID?" So if you have a doctor, that'd be an easy one. So what are you doing with COVID? What are you guys doing to stay safe? And you might not talk about immune system. They might talk about masks. They might talk about not going out in public. That's cool. Then you can always keep the conversation going. So I think keeping those conversations going seemed like a really a good way to not let it be awkward.
Well, and so often it comes up in conversation with me with my friends that they're frustrated about their children not eating enough at fruits and vegetables, and that's literally how most of my conversations begin is how we have this amazing simple product that give it a try. There's a program that we have called Healthy Starts, and right now you can actually get a free box of shake with it. It's a pretty cool way to start that conversation. And one of the other things that I just did, which I spoke about on Saturday, was to do a Facebook post where I posted a question, and then whoever answered, and it doesn't really matter what question it is, but whoever answers, I'm going to send them samples of Juice Plus. So that's a great way to kind of, get the conversation going, and they actually get to try it and feel it. And I'll follow up with them, and it's kind of a different approach than I normally do, but I'll see how it goes.
Good feedback from Stacy in the chat. We assume ghosting when people are just busy and distracted. I mean, I know that's true. I don't want you guys to think you're being ghosted. Seriously, because sometimes I'll listen to a Voxer, I won't respond. I'll listen to or look at a messenger, I won't respond. It's just there's so much on our plates every day and lots of communication coming in from everywhere that sometimes, I mean, I don't mean to not respond, but not everything demands a response too. And if you didn't ask a question, then you may not get an answer. Sometimes when you do talk to people, you have to ask a question, then you might get an answer. Um, but yeah, there's that. And then what was it? Oh, doctors are hard. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I would have said to a doctor, "How are you doing with your immune system?" Um, I like the straightforward approach. You know, I work for Juice Plus. Have you heard of it? I think it's great for you to find out more for your patients or for yourself. It's got a lot of research. Would you be open to checking out the research if I give it to you? You know, I mean, I just made that up, but that would be more my approach, you know, especially, or if I'm visiting a doctor, I just automatically bring the research.
Well, in the doctor's world, that's what they're used to as well, because the people from big pharma are going to do that very thing. Nobody from big pharma is going to say, "So how you doing with your blood pressure?" You know what I mean? They're going to say, "Hey, check out this info on whatever.
Yeah. And you can
Here's
even
the research."
print some of the articles too if you're going to the doctor or whatever. But we have a nice research summary. We have a nice blue little ring binder for doctors. But I would be pretty straightforward with the doctors.
Can we
Let's hear from the people who are getting the 5 to 10 customers a month. We've heard from some of them.
yeah, I want to know, and we'll keep hearing from them, but I want to shift to like some numbers, because sometimes we don't talk about this. We'll talk about what you're supposed to do, where you're supposed to go on the Freedom Revolution, blah blah blah. But if I want to hit 10 customers this month, what does that look like for some of you? What is the activity level? How are you approaching that? I know a lot of you don't set out and say, "Oh, it's the first. I will get 10 customers this month." But there are some of you who are very focused in your activity, and you tend to get 10 over and over and over and over. So if we could just have some like real talk with people, like, what are you doing to hit those numbers?
You said it, Doug, talking to people over and over and over again. Starting new conversations, follow up, but continued momentum, continued conversation, continued activity. If you start, stop, start, stop, start, stop, then you have to restart those conversations that you had, rebuild your excitement, talk yourself into getting and posting something, assuming everyone's going to see the one post you did every 3 weeks is not fair or reasonable. There's a process with keeping the momentum and just the algorithms with Facebook to keep yourself present and what do they call that? Like legitimate in Facebook, relevant in Facebook eyes to where people see your post. You have to continually post that, but also the side of continually adding new people in. So I am typically having conversations with around 30 to 40 people each month, whether that's inviting to an event, talking to new people, sending them the videos. And I have to have some sort of list of paper where I'm keeping those names, or they just get lost in Facebook Messenger. And I am the one that ghosts them. I don't follow up with them, or I say I'm going to send them something and I don't. Like, I don't invite them to another event. It's a series of exposures. So are you talking to enough people to even get 5 people ready to the point that they're going to order? Because that may be months from now. I think people expect that they're going to talk to 5 people, they're going to get 5 orders. And when they get no orders from talking to 5, the negative self-talk kicks in. They beat themselves up, say they're not good at it. It affects the next 5 conversations they would have had. Then they get ramped up from something excited. So now they're going to have next 5 conversations, 3 months from now, and try to go back and start these, which you can, but all of that loss of momentum in just the flow of conversation. And then also the other thing I'll say, and then I'll stop talking, is get on the phone with people. When they start asking price, I do not send them the price list, an order form, tell them how much it is. get off of Messenger or off of texting and get on the phone with them. I can have way more happen in a conversation than I'm ever going to have through texting. Texting gets broken up. It's like a conversation with a 3-year-old in the room with you. It's hard to focus. You get distracted. And that's what Facebook Messenger, even text, is, because other things come in and it just gets delayed. Where if I can get on the phone, I can get a lot done. So I just say, hey, do you mind if I call you? I want to make sure I get you guys set up for what best fits you. And I want to make sure I give you the right price quote for what your family is needing. And they usually say yes. Sometimes that delays from the time we actually get on the phone, but on the phone, I can find out really what their needs are. What are they really looking for? I can introduce the shake to them. I can talk to them about the omega, make sure they understand the kids get it. They mention their mom and their sister. Then I say, hey, you should do this with me. You're already talking to people, like, makes sense to you. You can invite to the team. That rarely happens all through text.
Okay, that's awesome. And I want to call on 3 people, because these 3 people, if they decide they want to go get 10 customers, they're just going to go do it. If I said you need 5 by tonight, these 3 people would come up with 5, no problem. Okay, that'll be Michelle, Arlene, and Kathy Crispin. So let's go ahead and roll to you guys. Jules, you're in that group too. There's probably others too, but I'm going to start with Michelle.
Okay, so you're asking what is it that I do? Because
Yeah, what would you do if you're going to coach me to get 10 customers this month? What are your tips? What is your secret?
So this is such an awkward question for me because I never set an intention on like the number of people that I want as customers. My intention is to talk to like a lot of people. So, and from me talking to a lot of people, usually the customers come. So it's funny that I've never thought of it in that way of, oh, I want to get 10 customers this month. I never think that way. But I am having a lot of conversations. And I realized when I focus on like something specific, like a specific program that we offer or promotion, and I just drill hard in promoting that for the month, that I get a lot of fruition from that. So like with that Family Healthy Starts promotion that we had last month, where I thought it was ending last month, that was a great month because I was just promoting the results of these kids and people were seeing these stories. And I just had people reaching out to me left and right from hearing, what happens when you add more good nutrition to your body and to your kids' bodies. So it's a combination of like education, a combination of marketing, it's a combination of several things and doing it consistently. So like Stacy said, you can't post something and 3 weeks later post something else thinking that people saw that one post. I, in my mind, always know that probably only like maybe 1/3 of my audience saw my post. So that is why you do need to post consistently. And I'm not saying post the same type of information every day. You definitely need to switch it up. And hopefully you guys have been watching the trainings on how to post on social media between Fraser Brooks and what we got at conference. And there was someone else, I think, that gave some training. Definitely tap into those trainings because you have to understand the mindset of posting. People don't want to see you post the same thing every day promoting your product. They want to know about you. They want to maybe get some humor. They want to see some motivation. There's like a combination of things. So you have to really think of what you would like to see someone post, and then they want to see your real life too. So I incorporate all those things. So for me, it gets a little hard when I am going hard on a promotion because I'm like, I don't want to be too much, because sometimes I do feel myself that I am too much. But then I have to remember, not everyone saw my post from 2 days ago. So if I am doing a duplicate post, a similar in another 2 days, I just have to say, you know what, hopefully they understand and they appreciate this information I'm sharing, and they're not going to block me or unfriend me. But
if I'm brand new on your team, Michelle, and I want to get the QSC as fast as possible. When you say you're talking to a lot of people, what does that mean? What do you mean, Michelle? Should I talk to like 2 people a day, or how do you even think of what is a lot of people? As a new person, I have no reference point.
As a new person, I'm thinking at least 50 people. within like the first week. You need to be sharing with at least 50 people in the first week if you want to get to QSC fast. And then once you hit those 50 and maybe you only got halfway to QSC, well, let's add another 50. Let's start writing out names of all the people. Like, look at your contact list in your phone. That your phone probably has over 500 people in it. Well, I don't know. My phone has a lot of people in it, but there's just different ways to add to that memory jogger. Look at people you went to school with, people that you went to college, people who you worked with. I mean, hopefully if you had good relationships with people, you have a good list. Hold on, my mother-in-law's here. So I'm going to pass it on.
Yeah, let's switch over to Kathy Crispin, and you give us some of your tips for being such a rock star.
Well, I'm kind of like Michelle. I don't set numbers. I don't say, okay, I want this many people. I want this many customers. I'm just constantly it just comes up in the conversation. Anytime I'm talking with people, if they ever say anything about health or the pandemic or everything that I hear points to Juice Plus. I don't know. It just does. I'm like, if your kids are sick or your kids aren't doing good or they're not healthy, to me, everything just kind of points to Juice Plus. So I just talk to a lot of people, but it's a natural thing. I'm not, when I'm walking up to people going, okay, what do I say? How can I get this started? I'm just talking to people as a friend, whether they're good friends or not. But if they're not a good friend, then I'm just going to be interested in them, ask them how they're doing and stuff. But don't automatically go to Juice Plus, but basically just become somebody that shows that they care about these people, whether they're new friends or old friends or new acquaintances. And then when you act interested, then if it comes up, or maybe you don't bring it up the very first time, or you may help meet a need that they have. And then it'll eventually, they'll realize, because you don't want to be known as, you can't talk to her without Juice Plus coming up. I don't want to be that person, but it does come up. And even like when we had our small group at our house last night, I've got the tower garden just feet from the front door. And that's the first thing they go, is they're going over there to look at the tower garden. And so I'm just like, I know nothing about gardening, but look at this. And I don't know anything about gardening. And so it's a conversation starter, but mainly I think just people need to know, people are hungry for friendships. They're hungry for relationships. And I think just showing people that you care, and whether you bring up Juice Plus at that time, if you're helping them find a babysitter or they're helping them locate something, you're just showing that you care. And then eventually health will come up, and then you can share. Or if they'll say, you look like you feel good, then you can pull it into that. Well, I feel good for the past 4 years because.
That's excellent. I love the different perspectives. So I'm going to try and squeeze two more in. Arlene, I want to hear from you, and then Jules.
Unmute
Thanks,
myself.
Kathy.
Okay. So I'm not sure if I'm exactly the right person to call on now, because I've just been, I guess I've been plugging in, but not really going after customers. But the combination of what Stacy said, Michelle said, and Kathy just said, like Stacy says she ghosts people all the time. It's embarrassing for me to admit to you guys that I am that person. That right now I have 2 people that reached out to me last week. They want to get on Juice Plus, and I still haven't called them yet. So I am that person that unfortunately I ghost people, not intentionally. I just need to do a better job at following up. Michelle said something about friendships. I am very good. I've always been that type of person that relationships mean a lot to me. So I'm the type of person that will always reach out and keep our friendship going, whether you're family, friends, strangers. I mean, this morning I texted a friend out of the blue, and I do this quite often, just saying, hey, thinking about you, missing you. And what else did I say? Oh, I said, hope you have a blessed day and a very productive week. You know, so I'm just that type of person that out of the blue you'll get a text from. And I think that helps as far as keeping that relationship going. So I never bring up Juice Plus. I never ask about, you know, what are they doing to keep your immune system going at this time? And Doug, you do have a point, you know, when you said, when I do put my intentions to it. In January, I put my, you know, I set my intentions. I was going to, you know, do this business January, February. And I think both months I probably got like 12, 15 customers each month. And that's because, like you said, I was intentional. And this is what I do. I pretty much, I will make posts on social media, my Facebook and my Instagram social media. They're two different types of posts that I put on them. Social Facebook, it's basically for me to keep in touch with people. You know, Instagram is where I share more of my healthy lifestyle. I don't know which is right, which is wrong. This is just what I do. And I keep up with people. I guess I keep our friendships going, and people always know how to reach me when they need help, I guess, information, Juice Plus information. My brother is also on social media, and he's always, you know, tagging me and stuff, and he calls me Miss Juice Plus. So people kind of know what I do anyway, and they know where to go for information when they want Juice Plus. So, but yeah, I do plan to reach out to those two people this morning. One of them texted me this morning saying, hey, please don't forget to put in an order for me. And I'm going to WhatsApp you my my credit card info. I do plan to call her later today. I just haven't yet. But yeah, there is no one specific thing that I do. Like Michelle, Kathy said, I keep up with people, and I keep our friendship going. People know what I do. And if you follow me on either Facebook or Instagram, you have an idea of basically what I'm all about.
Yeah, and it varies how you do it. I think Nicole pointed out something good. She said that everyone that's talking is kind of contradicting themselves or each other, but it's not really contradicting, it's complementing each other. There's different, some people love events, some people love social media, some people want to, Stacy loves going to coffee and lunch with people, you know, whereas Rachel Brewer, you know, wanted to stay in the house and do it on Twitter for a couple of years. You know, it's like, so you can do it, but it does come down to you and your heart and relationships and communicating with people. So it doesn't matter where you meet the people, but it's the people.
Right.
So I want to finish up. Jules, maybe share a little. You got a little something for us?
Well, I feel like the oddball out because I haven't like probably the last couple of months, but I have in the past set intentions to get a certain number of customers. We did a campaign before for like a year. Remember 5-1, every time you got 5 customers and 1 new distributor, you got $50 or something back from the company. I forget what it was, but so if you told me I had to get 5 customers, first of all, the first thing I would do is do a post to try to generate some interest. And so I could start the conversation. The second thing I would do is scroll and look for somebody who's pregnant, someone who's running a marathon, someone who's posting their pill bottles, somebody who's posting about their kids being sick. And I would private message them and say, hey, I just saw your post. And, you know, I hope you don't like think this is off key, or I don't want you to think I'm trying to sell you something. Whatever it is, I'm always speaking from my heart. But I will tell them, like, about Juice Plus, or I'll ask them if it's okay to share with them about Juice Plus. Typically it is, because it's the right time, because they just posted about something where Juice Plus fits right in. I would post in other groups, like I'm in like mom groups and holistic, like healthy groups and other different groups. And I would post like, who's interested in getting more fruits and vegetables into their diets or into their kids' diets, or who's having trouble with their little ones pooping. Ask a question to get some answers, and then start conversations with them on Facebook Messenger offline. Take it offline, take it off the thread. I would also go to old messages. Now, I've been doing this for a long time, so it doesn't really work with newer people, but I have a lot of old messages of people that I've dropped the ball on, or that we've talked in the past. Like, actually, I was just messaging people today. I know you were interested in Juice Plus in the past. Is there any more information I could send you, or samples, that you might need, to make a decision? Are you ready to order? If you're brand new, I would do events, do a family and friends event, do a Facebook event, and message them and say, hey, I'm super excited. I'm speaking on this event. I'm sharing my story. I'm on a path to better health. I would love to share more with you. And I would try to get as many people as possible onto that event. Now, I guess you said to get those many customers in one day, so that wouldn't work for that day, but you could do a pop-up event and just say, I'm speaking tonight, and do like a Facebook event or do a quick event. We were going to do an event Thursday. I was talking to some of my team members last night, and I said, does that give you guys enough time to invite? And I said, honestly, I usually invite people last minute anyway, because that's how they roll, and that's how their people roll. People do like to make last minute decisions. So I think, you could say it's good to invite people beforehand. Go ahead. It's good to invite people beforehand. It also works last minute too. So those are the things that I would do if I had to get 5 customers.
Cool. And if you're talking to a lot of people, what is a lot of people? Am I talking to 2 people a day?
No, I think a lot of people would be about 10 people a day.
Okay.
So 50 people a week.
All right. So that's great. You guys were so helpful in this. This was really good. I would like to share and remember this. A topic I'd like to do is something like, how the heck am I going to talk to 50 people a week? Because some people have jobs all day long. Some people have kids driving them nuts all day long. Some people have puppies, and it can seem overwhelming. Okay. So, but I don't think it is, because that's a deceiving number. I forced them to say the number. They don't think of it like they're sitting down, like, I'm going to work, and they're in their cubicle at their office, waiting for lunch break or something. They're just going and going. I mean, Michelle's talking to 5 of those people when she's at soccer, or just waiting for soccer practice to end, or Jules is in the line waiting to pick up the kids. And so we'll talk through some ideas how to do it. But we're 5 minutes over. Thanks for joining us on Facebook. We had a couple of people over there, right, Sharon?
Yes, Jacqueline Petrossi and Shannon Gott. Woohoo! Glad you guys are joining here too. Wonderful. And if you watch this on replay. So,
all right, guys.
Have that conversation Wednesday.
That was great, everybody.
Good
Thank
stuff. Tag a team member in Team Transformers, and we will see you later.
Tonight, 8:30.
Right.
Recognition.
Be there or be square. Tonight, 8:30. It's in the pin posts on Team Transformers.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
8:30. Bye, everybody.
Good night.